just want to start off by saying that I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I didn't want to do something boring. I wanted to do something that interests me. So I had read about the Library of Alexandria a long time ago, and it always stuck with me, like the mystery of it and everything. So I just wanted to share my kind of fun facts with you. Not fun facts, it's supposed. Okay, I want to talk about, first of all, the Avatar. Talked about this a little bit in Washington's library. It's like a little bit of a homage to the Library of Alexandria as well as the Library of Congress. And the owl always creeped me out too, so I really remembered that. Okay, so the origins. The Library of Alexandria was founded a little over 2,000 years ago, or a little bit between 238 and 351 BC by Alexander the Great himself. It was originally known as the Museum or Royal Library of Alexandria. It was a shrine or temple to the 9 muses and not only had a library, but also had gardens, areas to hold lectures, as well as a zoo, and over 100 scholars lived there full time. It was once estimated that the library held over 500,000 documents and works from all over the world. The structure that you're looking at now was a complex model of the Lyceum of Aristotle in Athens for intellectual and philosophical lectures and discussions. So, the tragedy. The Library of Alexandria is once the largest library of the ancient world and held works from some of the greatest thinkers and writers of all time, including Homer, Plato, and Socrates, and there was even said to have a secret room for Aristotle. And its eventual destruction is considered one of the greatest losses of knowledge and literature. It was also one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. And it hit me a lot because I love books so much, and to learn that something like this was lost once and could still be here today hurt me a lot. So Demetrius, who was a scholar and exiled governor of Athens, organized the construction of the Temple of the Muse, or museum. That's where we get the word from now today. It was a place of intellectual freedom where free thinkers of all kinds were allowed to study, exchange ideas and knowledge. The original bookkeeper of the library was a woman named Hypatia, who was a renowned mathematician and engineer. She was mad smart. So there were a lot of ideas of how the library got destroyed, but the one that's most famous is a fire that was started by, Julius Caesar himself. He was attempting to pursue Pompey into Egypt, and he was interrupted by an Egyptian fleet right at Alexandria. So supposedly he was outnumbered, and the smartest thing he thought to do was set fire to the entire harbor, which spread to part of the city and in the event destroyed the library as well. So, the mystery about it all, there's a quote from Brian Hoddington, who writes for Ancient History Encyclopedia, and it's like a whole quote, but basically he's saying that the mystery of it all is the fact that there is no physical evidence whatsoever to back up the fact that the library was destroyed by a fire or anything. It was like basically there's evidence to suspect that the library was still in place after the supposed Great Fire was supposed to happen by a Greek historian named Plutarch. He mentions a fire that destroyed the Great Library, but he could have been talking about any warehouse that happened to hold books. So also about 30 years after Julius Caesar, his death, the museum, which was part of the library, was still being mentioned, and they were right next to each other. So it's like, how could the library get burned down and the museum didn't get burned down? It doesn't make any sense. So there was also the fact that that part of Egypt had a very volatile past, especially during the Roman Empire, because there was a lot of wars and everything with Queen Zenobia and the Roman Empire. They were fighting over land and all that. So it's like even the library itself was ransacked a couple times, so there's not really much physical evidence to go off of about the fact that the fire happened in the first place. And there's so little evidence, in fact, that some people question if the library existed at all. So, in 2002, the library was rebuilt in Alexandria in hope of reclaiming its old fame and in an attempt to commemorate and recapture the brilliance of the original. And it's free to residents of Alexandria itself, but you have to pay. But basically, that's it. And that's my website.